Capricorns are often misunderstood. At first glance, they might seem cold or distant, but what most people fail to realize is the depth of their emotions and the quiet strength they possess. Ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline and time, Capricorns approach life with a sense of seriousness and purpose. They have high standards for themselves and others, and they expect loyalty and respect in return for the hard work and dedication they give to the people they care about. But here's the thing, Capricorns may not show it, but when their trust is broken or their dignity is compromised, something deep within them shifts. Unlike other signs who might react impulsively or emotionally to being hurt, Capricorns internalize their pain. They won't shout, throw tantrums, or confront you right away. Instead, they'll retreat, quietly pulling back and putting up emotional walls that are nearly impossible to break down. You may think that things are fine, but to a Capricorn, betrayal is a quiet cut that takes time to heal. This silent response can be even more dangerous than a loud outburst. When you hurt a Capricorn, you aren't just hurting someone who will get angry and move on. No, you're dealing with someone who processes the hurt, who carefully considers how to deal with it, and who knows that karma works in mysterious ways. Capricorns understand that time is the ultimate equalizer, and they have all the patience in the world to let it unfold. So if you think that a Capricorn's silence is an invitation for you to relax, think again. The truth is, you'll never truly understand the impact of hurting a Capricorn until it's too late. And this quiet, calculated approach isn't just something that happens in the heat of the moment. It's a characteristic rooted deeply in their personality. Number 1, they value their pride and dignity. Capricorns are often perceived as serious, pragmatic, and reserved, but the truth is, there's a deep well of emotion beneath that cool exterior. What many don't realize is that their pride and dignity are two of the most precious things to a Capricorn. They don't take their reputation lightly. It's the foundation of who they are. For a Capricorn, being respected and maintaining their self-respect is everything. They won't tolerate anyone who undermines or disrespects them. And once that respect is lost, it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to earn it back. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just damaging their ego, you're attacking something that they hold sacred, their pride. Capricorns are not impulsive with their feelings, and they're definitely not the type to seek out confrontation. If you betray them, they won't shout, they won't make a scene. Instead, they'll quietly retreat into themselves, silently processing the pain. But that doesn't mean they've forgotten what happened. In fact, they'll remember it long after you've moved on. Their dignity is something they've worked hard to maintain over the years. They've put in the effort, faced challenges, and navigated life's obstacles without losing themselves. When you betray them, you're taking away their sense of pride. And for a Capricorn, that's a much bigger deal than it may seem. It's a silent destruction that slowly wears away at their willingness to trust again. You might never get the opportunity to make things right because, to them, the wound runs too deep. Capricorns are incredibly careful with their emotions. They'll let you in just enough to allow you to build a bond. But the moment you break that bond, it's like a switch is flipped. You'll never see the emotional turmoil they go through. They'll never let you witness their hurt directly. But make no mistake, they're quietly building a wall around themselves. And when that wall is built, they'll step back and assess whether you're worth the effort to rebuild what you've broken. The harsh reality is that when you hurt a Capricorn, you might lose them forever, and you won't even realize it until it's too late. Number 2, they are incredibly loyal. Loyalty is one of the strongest traits that defines a Capricorn. When they commit to a person, whether in a friendship, romantic relationship, or professional partnership, they give their all. Capricorns don't do things halfway. They will stand by you through thick and thin, offering support, guidance, and practical solutions when life gets tough. They'll put in the effort to help you grow and will always be there when you need them. To them, loyalty is more than just a word. It's a value they live by. But here's where it gets tricky. If you hurt a Capricorn, you risk losing that unwavering loyalty forever. Capricorns don't take betrayal lightly. They might give you a chance to explain yourself, but once trust is broken, it's very hard to regain. And unlike some other signs who might confront you or seek out some form of closure, Capricorns will quietly withdraw. They won't need to give you a reason or make a scene. Instead, they'll simply step away, and that's when you'll realize how much they meant to you. Capricorns are not the type to forgive and forget easily. If you've wronged them, they will silently detach, and it won't be obvious right away. You might still see them occasionally, but they'll be distant, emotionally at least. The loyalty they once gave so freely is now withdrawn, and you'll be left wondering what happened. What's worse, you may never know how much they truly cared about you until it's too late. They won't tell you. They won't shout about it. They'll just walk away quietly, leaving you to experience the weight of the loss. And that is perhaps the most painful punishment a Capricorn can inflict. Not to scream or yell, but to let you feel the absence of their presence in your life. When a Capricorn's loyalty is betrayed, it doesn't just hurt their pride. It's a direct blow to their core values. Loyalty is sacred to them, and once it's gone, it's incredibly difficult for them to trust again. And the worst part? They might never let you know how much you've hurt them. They'll just silently keep their distance and let time take care of everything. Karma will handle the rest. Number 3, they're patient but not forever. Capricorns are known for their incredible patience. This is a sign that doesn't rush into things, and they certainly don't rush their emotions. They take the time to assess situations carefully, weighing every option and considering all the consequences before making decisions. Their patience allows them to endure hardships that would break others. They can weather storms, take on challenges, and keep moving forward, often without anyone even realizing the struggles they're facing. But here's the catch. While Capricorns may have the patience of a saint, they aren't saints, and their patience is not infinite. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're testing that patience. Capricorns will give you time to show that you can be trusted, time to make things right, time to fix what was broken. They will give you space to redeem yourself, but only for so long. You see, Capricorns are strategic thinkers, and they know that time is a precious commodity. They understand that patience has limits, and they won't wait forever for someone to come around. If you don't show them that you're willing to put in the effort to right your wrongs, their patience will begin to run out, and that's when things get serious. When a Capricorn reaches their breaking point, it's often quiet, subtle, and methodical. They won't explode or lash out. Instead, they'll silently withdraw. They'll stop engaging with you, stop showing interest, and eventually, they'll stop caring altogether. This withdrawal is not an act of rage or anger. It's simply the result of their patience running thin. They've waited long enough, and now they've made a decision. And once a Capricorn has made a decision to let go, it's very hard to convince them to turn back. What makes this withdrawal even more difficult is that it's usually so quiet. Capricorns don't need to make a big scene to make you feel the loss. Their absence speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. And the worst part is, you may not even realize what's happening until it's too late. You might not notice the gradual fading of their presence in your life until you look around and realize that they're no longer there. By the time you figure it out, the damage is done, and all you can do is reflect on how you let their patience run out. Capricorns also have a deep understanding of the value of time. Time is one thing they can never get back, and they don't waste it on people who don't value their efforts. If you keep pushing them, taking advantage of their patience without showing any effort to change, they will slowly begin to shift their energy away from you. Their focus will turn elsewhere, toward people who appreciate them, toward projects that align with their goals, and toward their own growth. The quiet shift will be evident to anyone who knows them well, but to you, it may seem like a sudden disappearance. This is when karma starts to step in. You won't have to wonder why they pulled away. You'll know exactly what happened. It's because you took their patience for granted. Number 4, they don't forget. If there's one thing you should know about a Capricorn, it's that they never forget. And I mean never. While other signs might forgive and forget, Capricorns are not like that. Their memory is sharp, and they remember every detail, every moment, every slight, no matter how small. When you hurt a Capricorn, they will remember it, and they will carry that memory with them. It might not be obvious at first, as they are often quiet about their feelings, but make no mistake, they remember. What's important to understand here is that Capricorns don't just remember the events themselves. They remember how those events made them feel. They internalize their experiences, and those experiences shape how they view the world and the people around them. So, when you hurt them, even if it's something minor in your eyes, it becomes part of their emotional framework. They may not bring it up immediately, but it lingers in the background, influencing their actions and decisions moving forward. Capricorns are not the type to hold on to grudges for the sake of holding power over someone. They don't use their memories as a tool for manipulation. Instead, they remember because it's their way of protecting themselves. They use those memories as a guide to decide who is worthy of their trust and who is not. If you've hurt them, even if you apologize or try to make amends, that memory will still be there, influencing their behavior towards you. It's not about being vengeful. It's about learning from past mistakes and guarding themselves from being hurt again. This is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to win back a Capricorn once you've hurt them. Their ability to remember every detail, every slight, makes it hard for them to forget what you've done. They may forgive you, but the trust will be fractured and the emotional distance will be palpable. It's not that they don't want to trust you again. It's just that they can't erase the memories of what happened. They've learned from their experiences, and they will approach their relationship with you differently moving forward. What's even more challenging is that Capricorns don't always show how much they've been hurt. They might not express their pain immediately or in obvious ways, but inside, they're storing that memory and it will stay with them. Over time, this can create a quiet, emotional barrier between you and them. You might not even realize it's there until it's too late to do anything about it. And this is where karma works its magic. The emotional distance between you and a Capricorn, created by their unwavering memory, will be felt more profoundly over time. You'll begin to notice that their affection, their loyalty, and their energy towards you have shifted. And by the time you understand why, it may be too late to undo the damage. So, remember this: Capricorns don't forget. They carry the past with them, and it shapes how they move forward in life. If you've hurt them, that memory will stick with them, and no amount of apologies can erase it completely. It's not about punishment, it's about protection. Number 5, they think long term. One of the most defining qualities of a Capricorn is their ability to think long term. While other signs might live in the moment, reacting impulsively to the world around them, Capricorns have a rare gift for seeing the bigger picture. They plan ahead, always considering how their decisions today will impact their future. Whether they are building their career, investing in relationships, or planning their personal growth, Capricorns have a remarkable ability to focus on the long haul. And this long-term thinking is what makes them both successful and incredibly cautious. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just dealing with someone who is reacting to the present moment. You're dealing with someone who is already thinking about the long-term consequences of your actions. They won't just be hurt in the here and now. They will consider how your betrayal or mistake will affect their future interactions with you and with others. A Capricorn is not easily swayed by temporary emotions. Instead, they focus on what's sustainable and lasting. So, if you've hurt a Capricorn, be prepared to face the long-term effects of your actions. The real danger of crossing a Capricorn is that they won't show you immediate signs of distress. You might think they've moved on or that they've forgotten about what happened, but this could not be further from the truth. Capricorns are patient, and their patience allows them to look at the broader picture. They won't react in the heat of the moment. They'll hold on to the memory of what you've done and will silently make the necessary adjustments in their life, distancing themselves from you and seeking out people who won't hurt them in the same way. Over time, the absence of a Capricorn's presence in your life will begin to feel heavier. You might wonder why things aren't the same, but by then, it will be too late. They've already moved on, quietly and without any drama. Their focus is no longer on you, and they've already set their sights on creating a future that doesn't involve the betrayal you caused. What makes this long-term thinking even more potent is that Capricorns are not the type to make rash decisions. When they let you go, they do so with careful consideration. It's not about making a dramatic exit or trying to make you feel guilty. It's about taking measured steps to ensure that they are protecting their future. They'll remove you from their circle slowly and without fanfare. You won't even notice the distance until it's too late. And when you do, you'll realize that they've been silently planning a life without you all along. Number 6, they respect hard work. Capricorns are one of the most hard-working signs in the zodiac. They are known for their tireless commitment to their goals and their ability to stay focused on the task at hand. They approach everything with a sense of duty and responsibility that few others can match. Whether it's their career, their relationships, or personal projects, Capricorns put in the work and expect the same from those around them. They are not ones to take shortcuts or look for easy ways out. For a Capricorn, success is earned, not given. When you hurt a Capricorn, you are not just betraying their trust. You're also undermining the value they place on hard work. Capricorns understand that things don't come easily in life. They know that success requires persistence, effort, and patience. They work tirelessly to achieve their goals, and they expect others to do the same. If you've taken advantage of their generosity, their time, or their effort, the consequences will be felt much deeper than you can imagine. You might think that a simple apology will fix things, but for a Capricorn, the real issue is that you didn't respect the hard work they put in to help you. Capricorns value effort, and they don't appreciate people who expect things to come easily. If you take them for granted, expecting them to carry you without putting in the work yourself, they will slowly begin to withdraw. This isn't because they are selfish or vindictive. It's because they believe that hard work is a two-way street. They want to see effort, commitment, and dedication, just as they show in their own life. If they don't see that from you, they'll stop investing their time and energy. It's a quiet but powerful way of protecting their own resources and maintaining their sense of self-worth. This respect for hard work extends to every aspect of their life. If you've hurt a Capricorn, you're not just hurting their trust, you're also showing them that you don't understand the value of the effort they put into their relationships, their career, or their personal goals. And that, to a Capricorn, is unforgivable. They take pride in their accomplishments and in the hard work they put into everything they do. If you fail to recognize that, you've essentially shown them that you don't respect their effort, and that is a violation of one of their core values. But even more than that, Capricorns believe that hard work is a way of life. It's not just about achieving a specific goal or reaching a destination. It's about the process, the journey, and the commitment to always improving. When you disrespect their hard work, you're disrespecting their way of life, and that's a deeper offense than most people realize. This offense isn't something that Capricorns forgive easily. They will silently withdraw their support and effort, and the more you take advantage of them, the less they'll give. The silent withdrawal of a Capricorn's support is often one of the most painful experiences someone can face. You won't get a dramatic confrontation or an emotional outburst. Instead, you'll notice them becoming increasingly distant, as if they've checked out of the relationship entirely. This isn't a decision made in haste. It's the result of a slow process where they've realized that their hard work is not being valued, and they need to preserve their energy for people who truly understand the effort it takes to maintain a relationship, a career, or a goal. And when a Capricorn pulls away, it's not a cry for attention. It's not a passive-aggressive attempt to get you to apologize. It's simply the result of them realizing that they can't continue to invest their time and effort into someone who doesn't respect the hard work that goes into everything they do. This is where the real power of a Capricorn lies, in their ability to walk away when they feel their efforts aren't being appreciated. They may not make a scene, but the absence of their support and energy will speak volumes. It's a quiet punishment, one that you may not even realize you're receiving until you look around and find that they've quietly moved on without you. Number 7, they are resilient. Capricorns are perhaps one of the most resilient signs in the zodiac. They have this innate ability to withstand challenges and come out on the other side stronger and wiser. Life throws its hardest obstacles at them, yet they never break. Instead, they adapt, recalibrate, and forge ahead with even more determination. This resilience isn't just about bouncing back after a setback. It's about facing adversity head on and never allowing it to define who they are or where they're going. For a Capricorn, challenges are merely opportunities to prove their strengths and capacity for growth. When you hurt a Capricorn, you are not dealing with someone who will crumble under the weight of betrayal. Capricorns might take their time processing the hurt, but eventually they will pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and keep going. They might seem like they're unfazed, and in many ways they are. The truth is, they have an inner strength that allows them to endure what others cannot. This strength isn't always visible on the surface, but it's there, silently working behind the scenes, allowing them to rise from the ashes when others would give up. The real challenge when you hurt a Capricorn is that they won't react in the dramatic way you might expect. You won't see them cry out for help or lash out in anger. Instead, they will quietly retreat into themselves, process what has happened, and then make the decision to move forward. It might seem like they've let it go, but what you don't realize is that their resilience has kicked in. They don't dwell on the past for too long, because they know that life is too short to waste time on things that can't be changed. Instead, they focus on the future and the next challenge. If you think that a Capricorn's quiet demeanor means they're defeated, think again. They are simply using that time to rebuild, to heal, and to prepare for what comes next. This resilience, however, is not something to be taken for granted. Capricorns may not show their hurt right away, but that doesn't mean they haven't been affected. Their resilience is not about hiding their pain. It's about managing it in a way that allows them to move forward. When you betray a Capricorn, you may think that you've gotten away with it. You might believe that they've forgotten about what happened. But what you don't realize is that the Capricorn will quietly recalibrate their view of you, and you may find that your place in their life has slowly started to fade. Their ability to forgive doesn't mean they've forgotten. They've simply chosen not to let the past hold them back. It's this quiet, powerful resilience that allows Capricorns to rise above the difficulties they face. They don't need validation from others, and they certainly don't need anyone's approval to keep pushing forward. They do it because they believe in themselves, and they know that no matter what happens, they can handle it. This is what makes them so powerful. They're not afraid of adversity. They welcome it because they know it's the crucible in which their strength is forged. But this is also what makes it dangerous to cross them. Once a Capricorn decides that you've hurt them too much, they won't confront you. They'll simply move on, and you won't even know what happened until they've already left. You might think you can return to them, but by the time you realize they're gone, they will have moved on with their life in a way that you can never follow. Number 8, they know their worth. Capricorns have an unwavering sense of self-worth. It's not about arrogance or pride. It's about knowing exactly who they are, what they bring to the table, and what they deserve. This deep-seated confidence comes from years of hard work, self-reflection, and life experience. Capricorns understand their value, and they won't let anyone take advantage of it. They know that they've earned every success, every accomplishment, and every piece of recognition they've received. And because of this, they are very careful about who they allow into their lives. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just damaging their feelings, you're challenging their self-worth. Capricorns don't allow people into their inner circle easily. They take time to build trust, and once they let you in, they expect you to respect them just as they respect themselves. If you cross them, if you betray that trust, or hurt them in any way, they will take a step back and assess the situation. The one thing you should never forget is that Capricorns will never allow someone to diminish their worth. They won't beg for your respect, nor will they plead for you to understand their value. They will simply remove themselves from the situation because they know that they deserve better. This self-respect is what makes Capricorns incredibly selective about who they keep in their lives. If you hurt them, you'll quickly find out that they won't give you a second chance to disrespect them. They won't tolerate anyone who doesn't see their worth, and they certainly won't make an effort to convince you of their value. If you don't get it, they'll quietly walk away without making a fuss, and you'll be left with the stark realization that you've lost someone who was worth far more than you realized. But what's interesting about Capricorns is that their self-worth doesn't come from the validation of others. Unlike some signs who seek approval or praise, Capricorns don't need others to recognize their achievements. They already know what they're capable of, and they are at peace with that knowledge. This is why it's so dangerous to hurt them. They will not tolerate anyone who doesn't appreciate them for who they are and what they contribute. And when they leave, they do so knowing they don't need to convince anyone of their value. They've already proven it to themselves. This unwavering self-awareness and confidence are what allow Capricorns to maintain their composure, even when others try to tear them down. They may experience pain, they may be hurt, but they will never let it shake their sense of self-worth. When they walk away from a relationship or situation, it's because they know they deserve better. And this quiet departure, this recognition of their own worth, is perhaps one of the most powerful ways they punish those who have hurt them. You won't hear them say anything. You won't see them scream in anger. You'll just notice that they're gone, and the absence of their presence will speak volumes. Number 9, they are not afraid of letting go. One of the most powerful qualities of a Capricorn is their ability to let go. Unlike many people who hold on to relationships, situations, or circumstances out of fear of losing something or out of sentimental attachment, Capricorns know that sometimes the most powerful thing they can do is walk away. For a Capricorn, letting go is not a sign of weakness, but rather a display of strength and wisdom. It's a conscious choice they make when they realize that something or someone is no longer serving their higher purpose or contributing to their goals. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're testing their ability to hold on. Initially, they might give you the benefit of the doubt. They might wait for you to prove yourself, to apologize, or to make things right. Capricorns are not quick to give up on people. They are loyal and committed by nature, and they'll give you plenty of chances to redeem yourself. However, once they reach the point where they feel that there's nothing left to be gained, nothing left to salvage, they will walk away, and they will do so with little to no emotional fanfare. What makes this so powerful is that Capricorns rarely look back. When they make the decision to let go, it's final. You won't hear them complain, cry, or beg for things to go back to the way they were. Instead, they'll simply detach, and that detachment will be complete. You might never know the depth of their decision, and you'll likely never get closure, because a Capricorn doesn't need to announce that they're letting go. They'll do it quietly, methodically, and with grace. This ability to move on without looking back can be a hard pill to swallow, especially if you're the one who hurt them. You might expect them to confront you, to demand answers, or to try to fix things. But a Capricorn doesn't operate that way. They don't waste time trying to change things that can't be changed. If you've hurt them, they will simply remove themselves from your life and move forward without you. It's not an act of revenge or spite. It's just the natural result of their unwavering self-respect and their recognition that they deserve more than what they've been given. When a Capricorn lets go, it's not always immediate. They don't make rash decisions based on emotions. Instead, they quietly assess the situation, carefully weighing the pros and cons of continuing to invest in someone who has hurt them. This process is slow, deliberate, and often unnoticed until the final decision is made. And when that decision is made, it's final. They'll never beg you to stay, nor will they try to convince you to change. They'll simply walk away, knowing that they have the strength to let go and move on to something better. But don't think that letting go means that they've forgotten. Capricorns may be good at detaching emotionally, but that doesn't mean they don't carry the memory of how they were hurt. The difference is that they don't let it define them, and they don't let it stop them from moving forward. Their resilience allows them to accept that some things aren't meant to be, and they'll focus on what's ahead rather than dwelling on what's been lost. It's also worth noting that Capricorns don't hold grudges. They simply understand that not everyone is meant to stay in their life. If they've let you go, it's because they've come to the realization that the relationship, the situation, or the connection no longer aligns with their goals or their sense of self-worth. And once they let go, they'll move on with such quiet grace that you might not even realize what you've lost until it's too late. The truth is, Capricorns value their time, their energy, and their emotional well-being. When they see that someone has repeatedly hurt them or disrespected them, they won't hesitate to let go. They understand that holding on to toxic people or situations only drains their resources. and they would rather walk away than continue to pour energy into something that doesn't serve them. And when they do walk away, they won't look back because they know that their future is too important to waste time on the past. Number 10, they don't need your validation. Another powerful aspect of Capricorn's nature is their complete lack of dependence on external validation. While many people seek approval, admiration, or acknowledgement from others, Capricorns are uniquely self-sufficient in this area. They know who they are, they know what they bring to the table, and they don't need anyone else to tell them their worth. This sense of self-assurance is part of what makes Capricorns so attractive and powerful, but it can also make them seem distant or unapproachable. The truth is, they are not interested in playing the validation game. They don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about themselves. When you hurt a Capricorn, you might expect them to look for your apology, to seek some form of recognition for the hurt you've caused, or to beg for your forgiveness. But Capricorns don't operate that way. They don't need validation from anyone, including you. They don't need to hear how sorry you are or how much you regret what you did. They know their own worth, and they've already processed the situation in a way that allows them to move forward. If you've hurt them, they won't wait for you to validate their feelings or to offer some form of compensation. Instead, they will simply remove themselves from the situation and move on without you. This lack of dependence on validation is what makes a Capricorn so strong. They are not swayed by other people's opinions or by the need for external approval. They know that their worth is inherent, and they won't let anyone take that away from them. This is why Capricorns can let go so easily. They don't need your validation to feel whole or worthy. They understand that people will come and go, and they are perfectly fine with that. What matters most to them is their own sense of self-respect and integrity. So when a Capricorn walks away from a relationship or situation, it's not because they're seeking closure or validation. It's because they know their worth, and they understand that they deserve more than what they've been given. They don't need anyone else to validate their feelings or their decision to let go. They simply trust themselves enough to know that walking away is the best thing for their well-being and future. And just as they don't seek validation from others, they also won't beg for anyone to stay. If you've hurt them, they won't plead for your attention or try to convince you of their value. Instead, they'll quietly walk away, knowing that they've already given everything they could. Their confidence in themselves means they don't need to convince anyone of their worth, because they already know it. And this self-assurance, this inner strength, is what makes the Capricorn so hard to replace in your life. Number 11, they don't settle for less than they deserve. Capricorns are known for their high standards. Whether it's for themselves, their relationships, or the way they live their lives, they have a clear sense of what they want, what they deserve, and most importantly, what they will accept. For a Capricorn, settling for less is simply not an option. They will never compromise on their values or allow someone to treat them with anything less than the respect and loyalty they have earned. This unwavering self-respect and sense of worth are what set Capricorns apart from many other signs. When you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just hurting their feelings, you're challenging their standards. Capricorns don't tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or inconsistency, and they will quickly distance themselves from anyone who doesn't meet their expectations. This is not to say that Capricorns are unrealistic or overly demanding. On the contrary, they are practical and grounded. However, they do have a deep understanding of what it means to be treated well, and they refuse to settle for less than that. If you've hurt them, you've shown them that you're willing to offer them less than they deserve, and that, for a Capricorn, is unacceptable. What makes this so powerful is that Capricorns won't beg for your attention or approval. If they see that you're not capable of meeting their standards, they won't hesitate to walk away. They don't need anyone to validate them, and they don't need anyone to make them feel worthy. They know their value, and they will not waste their time on anyone who can't see it. If you've crossed a line with a Capricorn, don't expect them to chase after you, to plead for reconciliation, or to beg for forgiveness. Instead, they'll silently walk away, knowing that they deserve better. They have no time for games or for people who are unwilling to meet them where they are. For Capricorns, self-respect is non-negotiable. They will never allow themselves to be in a relationship whether personal or professional, where they are not being treated with the respect they deserve. They've worked too hard to build their lives, their careers, and their self-worth to let anyone undermine it. So when you hurt a Capricorn, it's not just about the immediate pain. It's about the fact that they can see the bigger picture. They know that if they continue to allow people to treat them poorly, they're doing themselves a disservice. For them, it's a matter of self-preservation. They'll let go of toxic people or situations without a second thought, because they understand that settling for less would mean compromising their own well-being and happiness. Capricorns have an innate ability to move on. They don't cling to past hurts or regrets. Instead, they focus on building the life they know they deserve. Once they recognize that someone is no longer worth their time, they won't hesitate to move forward, no matter how difficult it may seem. This is where their resilience truly shines. They may experience pain, but they don't let it define them. Instead, they use it as fuel to propel themselves toward a brighter future, one that aligns with their high standards. This is why Capricorns are so difficult to replace. They don't settle for mediocrity. They don't settle for people who don't appreciate them. And they don't settle for situations that don't serve their greater purpose. When you hurt them, you're not just losing someone who cares for you. You're losing someone who brings a unique strength, wisdom, and loyalty into your life. And once they realize they deserve better, they won't hesitate to find it, whether that means leaving you behind or seeking a new path forward. Number 12, they never forget and karma will catch up. One of the most powerful characteristics of a Capricorn is their impeccable memory. Capricorns are not the type of people who forget when they've been wronged. In fact, they have an almost photographic memory when it comes to betrayal, hurt, and disappointment. While other signs might forgive and move on, Capricorns are different. They remember everything: the way you treated them, the promises you broke, the lies you told. And once that trust is broken, it's hard for them to fully let go of what happened. But here's the catch. A Capricorn will never openly confront you about it. They won't yell at you, demand answers, or try to get you to feel guilty. Instead, they'll quietly hold on to the memory and allow time to take its course. They trust that the universe has a way of working things out, and karma will find its way back to you in due time. Capricorns don't need to make a scene or seek revenge, because they know that justice will always come in one form or another. You might think that by ignoring the problem, it will go away. But for a Capricorn, it's not about forgetting. It's about knowing that what goes around comes around. This quiet but effective form of justice is one of the most powerful ways a Capricorn will deal with being hurt. They won't waste their energy trying to fix something that's broken beyond repair. Instead, they'll focus on moving forward, all the while knowing that the universe has a way of bringing balance. They understand that things will always come full circle, and people who hurt them will eventually face the consequences of their actions. This belief in karma is what allows a Capricorn to stay calm and collected in situations that might drive others into a frenzy. They don't need to act immediately or aggressively. They know that time will reveal the truth, and eventually, things will come back to the person who caused them harm. This quiet strength is why Capricorns are not afraid of letting go. They know that once someone has crossed them, there's no need to chase after them or beg them to come back. The universe will take care of it in its own way. This is why a Capricorn's silence is often more powerful than any confrontation. When they let go of you, it's not a dramatic exit. It's a quiet departure that leaves you questioning what went wrong. And as time passes, you'll start to realize that their absence speaks volumes. The reality is that Capricorns don't need to prove anything to anyone. They just need to trust that things will balance out, and karma will do the work for them. By the time you realize how deeply you've hurt a Capricorn, it will likely be too late. You'll be left with the quiet, lingering memory of what once was, and they will be long gone, focused on their future, on their own growth, and on the life they are building without you. And the truth is, they won't look back. They don't need to, because they know that karma is already at work, and their peace of mind is far more important than anything or anyone who's no longer worthy of their time. Throughout this journey into understanding Capricorn's nature, one thing becomes clear. Capricorns are strong, resilient, and strategic individuals. They are loyal, hardworking, and determined, but they also have a quiet strength that allows them to walk away when they've been hurt or when things no longer serve their growth. Their ability to assess situations and let go when necessary is one of their most powerful traits. If you've ever found yourself on the wrong side of a Capricorn, you might have experienced the subtle but sharp sting of their absence, which is often more impactful than any confrontation or argument. We've learned that Capricorns value their pride and dignity above all else. They won't settle for anything less than the respect they deserve, and if you fail to give them that, they'll silently withdraw, leaving you to deal with the consequences of your actions. Their loyalty, when earned, is unwavering, but once that trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to regain. They think long-term, which means when they decide someone or something is not worth their time anymore, they won't hesitate to walk away and invest their energy elsewhere. We also explored how their patience can be both a strength and a double-edged sword. A Capricorn will give you ample time to make things right, but once their patience has worn thin, their decision is final. You won't hear an emotional outburst, just the slow, methodical fading of their presence from your life. And as we learned, Capricorns never forget. They may not confront you about every hurt, but they'll remember how you made them feel, and it will influence how they engage with you moving forward. Capricorns also understand their worth in ways few others do. They don't need validation from others because they are secure in their own abilities, choices, and worth. When you hurt a Capricorn, you challenge that self-assurance, and they will silently remove themselves from your life, knowing that they deserve better. They don't need your apology, and they certainly don't need to convince you of their value. They simply know it, and that's enough for them to move on. But perhaps the most striking thing about Capricorns is their resilience. They may face hardship, but they never stay down for long. They have an incredible ability to bounce back from pain, adapt to new situations, and rise stronger than before. And when they let go of something or someone, it's not because they're weak or afraid. It's because they recognize that holding on to something that doesn't serve them is only holding them back. When Capricorns choose to walk away, it's not an act of anger or spite. It's an act of self-preservation. They know that in order to grow, they must let go of what no longer fits into their vision for the future. Their quiet departure is often more painful than any public confrontation because it's not something you can fix. Once they've made the decision to leave, they won't look back. The emotional space they create in their absence will be far more impactful than any words spoken in frustration. So, as we wrap up this exploration of Capricorn's complex nature, it's important to remember that when you hurt a Capricorn, you're not just dealing with their immediate feelings, you're dealing with a person who will silently assess the situation and walk away when necessary. Capricorns don't need to explain their decisions to anyone. They simply trust that time will reveal everything, and when they walk away, it's often permanent. If you've hurt a Capricorn, don't expect them to chase after you or beg for your attention. Instead, take a moment to reflect on your actions. Recognize that they are more than capable of moving on without you, and they don't need your validation to continue on their path to success and happiness. At Secret of the Zodiac, we dive deep into the mysteries of each zodiac sign, exploring their strengths, weaknesses, and how they navigate relationships, life, and everything in between. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Capricorn's nature, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another insightful video. While you're here, don't forget to like this video and share it with anyone who needs a better understanding of Capricorn energy. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you ever hurt a Capricorn and felt the sting of their silent withdrawal? Or maybe you've had a Capricorn in your life who's quietly moved on. Whatever your thoughts, leave a comment and let's start a conversation about this complex and fascinating sign. And if you're interested in more zodiac insights, check out our other videos. There's so much more to explore about the stars and how they influence our life. We can't wait to continue this journey with you. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Capricorn's quiet strength is one of the most powerful forces in the zodiac, and we'll continue to unravel the mysteries of the stars, one sign at a time. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and join us in the ongoing conversation about the zodiac. We'd love to know how Capricorns have impacted your life. See you in the next video.